Right, welcome to this review for the new Codex for Chaos Knights. So great news for Chaos players, they've now got their own Codex. Great thing about this is stratagems, wall of traits and so on for those Chaos players amassing a number of the Chaos Knights models. Great news there. So in this video, the usual format for this, it's going to be quite in-depth here, sort of tactical at the same time as well. So particular emphasis on this one, or areas of interest will be things like the stratagems and so on, to see how effective they are. The models, a lot of the stat lines here are going to match Imperial Knights, so check out that review as well, which has already been done for the Imperial Knights Codex. I've got this copy from Games Workshop. They sent it to me ahead of time. Sorry for the delay, it's come through late in the post and so it slowed down the review here, and then the recent Apocalypse game wanted to get that out first for everyone to see, the Tau versus the Ultramarines. But anyway, Codex Chaos Knights here. So usually get my Codexes and other Games Workshop stuff at a discounted rate from gamingfigures.com, so you can check them out for discount 40k and other gaming systems as well. They do. So take a look at the artwork first of all. So yeah, it's handy. This it's definitely going to be useful. Yeah, because I guess you can now take regular Chaos Space Marine army, and then you can take it to a detachment, use this Codex. So it's going to enhance the Chaos armies that are out there for sure, which is good. And they seem to be on the rise, doing a lot better. My Imperial armies are struggling at the moment, and Chaos seems to be doing particularly well, so not good for the Imperial. Great piece of artwork here. So I'll just show you all the different bits of artwork, which is a good number. Questor, Traitoris, all the heraldry, that's going to be a great help as well. It's going to give you all the markings that you can use, but a lot of license to make up your own here, no problem at all. Yeah, this is very cool. Yeah, an Imperial Knight is a great focal point for any army, and the same for a Chaos Knight. Fantastic focal point, and you can paint it up to match the colour scheme of the rest of the army and so on. But it's very, very cool. So the iconoclast houses then. House Lucaris. Yeah, and there's famous named characters here as well. House Herpatrax. Damnata, Eternal Dread. Yeah, they look the part now. No, they really do look the part. It's great to have this. House Chimera. The Infernal Houses. House Vextrix. House Commentus. And then Dreadblades. And you've got a great license to go for your own colour schemes as well. There's loads of options here. Hope's Shroud. Litany of Destruction. Hatred of Crastallan. You have some old Imperial markings on here. Crazy. Yeah, very cool. And this one here as well, old Imperial banners with red paint scroll over them. Freshly turned to Chaos. Okay, Fallen Knight Worlds. A Saga of Destruction. A little bit background story here. Knights Desecrator. Yeah, different types though here. There's going to be some different weapons to look at. Knights Rampager. And Corrupted Knights. That's your regular Imperial Knight armaments, just turned over to Chaos. Heraldry of the Fallen. Yeah, very cool. Just giving you a different sprue here to turn these over to Chaos. Nicely done. No, it looks very good. Not sure on a colour scheme. Things this kind of worn out kind of look, heavy battle damage and campaign kind of look, I think it looks best for Chaos. Get away from sort of factory fresh. Then when you're up against Imperial Knights, there's that contrast there, perhaps the cleaner cut Imperial Knights and then something that's more run down looking for Chaos. Doesn't have to be that way. This one's very bright. Gold and black. Destruction incarnate. So there's an example detachment there. And again here as well. That's virtually a 2k army there. That gives you an idea of the size if you can go for pure Chaos Knights. And a great army to put into an Apocalypse game. You know, that's going to be great fun to control during a game of Apocalypse. Just a whole big army, you know, 2,000 points worth, detachment, couple of detachments worth of knights, and take those to an Apocalypse game. Great fun. You know, brilliant. Yeah, really, really good fun. That would be. So the dreaded hosts here. So I talk about keywords. You're getting your keywords right, matching them up. Yeah, it's talking about kits here as well. Chaos Knights are based on the chassis of Imperial Knights. To build some variants of Chaos Knights, you'll need Imperial Knights kits. To build a War Dog, you'll need either the Armiger Helverins or Armiger Warglaves. To build a Knight Despoiler, you will need the Imperial Knight Warden kit. To build a Knight Tyrant, you'll need either a Knight Castellan or Knight Valiant kit. So just your guide there to make sure you match them up right. Dreadblades. In addition, you can nominate any Chaos Knight to be a Dreadblade, regardless of whether it owes allegiance to an Infernal household or Iron Iconoclast household. If you do so, it gains the Dreadblade keyword as a faction keyword on its data sheet. If your unit is a dog or war unit, contain two or more models, only those Chaos Knights nominated as Dreadblades retain the Dreadblade keyword once the unit separates as per the vehicle squadron usual rules for that. So there's your War Dog. Just the usual stat line for that. It's armed with the War Dog autocannon. I think it's the same as the Helverin. A range 60, heavy 2d3. It should be armed with two of them. Yeah, each can be equipped with two War Dog autocannons. Yeah, so it's like 4d3 shots. It's a crazy weapon. Strength 7, -1 and 3 damage. And it's no minus to firing. Moving and firing heavy weapons. It's a brilliant, brilliant weapon. It looks very, very cool as well, the long-barreled autocannon weapons. And then the Reaper Chain Cleaver, same weapon, strike, ×2 strength, you're fighting at strength 12, AP -3 and 3 damage, or you can sweep, so you get 2 attacks or 2 hit rolls instead of 1, strength 6, AP -2, 1 damage. Yeah, not too special. These, if you go for the Warglaive variant, then decent enough firepower, sort of tank hunting ability, and then happy to get stuck in close combat against a lot of targets. And then the Helverin here with the War Dog autocannons, you're looking at decent supporting firepower for sure. It is really good. So that's your options there. It's power level 9, which I'd never made use of power level until we did that recent Apocalypse, but it's a great way of putting an army together quickly, roughly of equal size, you know, compared to your opponent. So 160 points you're looking at there for the War Dog, plus the weapons on top of that. Not going to linger too long on these. Just want to get into the warlord traits and stratagems and so on. So Knight Despoiler, usual stat line, 4 attacks still for that. Avenger Gatling Cannon, usual rules. Iron Storm Missile Pod. Elder Gun, Rapid Fire Battle Cannons, the usual here. Storm Sphere Rocket Pod, Thermal Cannon. That's all the same, usual rules. Engine of Destruction. Okay. If this model is equipped with 1 Reaper Chainsword and 1 Thunderstrike Gauntlet, add 1 to its attacks characteristic and improve its weapon skill by 1. So you can make it a close combat killer, and it's going to be weapon skill 2+, and an extra attack as well, which is very cool. So, and usually it's a cheaper option as well, saving you on points to go for that. So good incentive to go for close combat ability. Okay, the Knight Tyrant. Power level 30, 28 wounds. This is your Dominus class here. Its conflagration cannon's the same. Plasma Decimator, Shieldbreaker Missile, Thundercore Harpoon, Twin Melter Gun, Siege Cannon, Volcano Lance, yeah, Titanic Feet. Okay. So I'm not going to get too much into that. If you look into the points are going to be the same, if not very close to the same as the Imperial Knights Codex, and then all of the weapon profiles here. Just check out the Imperial Knights Codex for that one. A Knight Desecrator here. So cover this one. It's power level 23. Usual stat line for an Imperial Knight. Nothing different there. But it's got this Laser Destructor, which is range 60, heavy D3. So 1, 2 or 3 shots. Average is going to be 2 shots. Hitting on a 3+. You should be getting a hit a turn. Strength 14, -4, D6 damage. And resolve an attack made with this weapon. A wound roll of 6+ inflicts D3 mortal wounds on the target to any other damage. Yeah, it's alright. It's okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not the scariest of weapons. Only heavy D3. Quite low on shots. That one. So you're averaging about 1 hit a turn. It's not that scary. It's a bit like when I fire my Tau, the hammerheads with their railguns. It's a one-shot weapon. And when you do get penetrating it, D6 damage isn't that scary. It's an average of 3. So I would say the firepower that comes from those war dogs would be more impressive than the Knight Desecrator here. Taskmaster, just usual rules here, but there's Taskmaster, reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by models in friendly war dog units, so within 6 inches of this model. So yeah, it's a great to have in amongst your war dog units. Cool. That's pretty good, rerolling ones. Nice. Okay. Next is a Knight Rampager here. It's power level 19, it's a cheaper option. So all the same stat line except you get 5 attacks of this one, so the bonus there for close combat. It's Reaper Chainsword, Thunderstrike Gauntlet and Titanic Feet, so usual rules for them. And Frenzied Rampage. When resolved attack made by Reaper Chainsword or Thunderstrike Gauntlet by this model, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. So yeah, big incentive there to go for close combat. That one is a much cheaper option. Weapon skill is 2+. Base of 5 attacks. You're going to get 6 or 2 usually. So yeah, pretty good. And you're looking at the Reaper Chainsword here at +6 strength, so strength 14, AP -3, and a flat 6 damage. That's the scary element of that. It's guaranteed 6 damage every time. Brilliant. And the Thunderstrike Gauntlet as well. Strength 16, -4, 6 damage. -1 for the hit rolls, but you're starting on a 3+. On a 2+ anyway, so yeah, and it's roll D6 4+, it's mortal wounds as well. So yeah, Thunderstrike Gauntlet's pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, I think maybe Imperial Knights, you think, okay, it's sort of a mixture between firepower, close combat, perhaps with an emphasis more on firepower. So to be different with Chaos, you maybe would want to emphasise close combat more. And there's big incentives to do it here. Knight Rampage is pretty good actually, and cheap. Throw one into your army. Hey, well, let's build it actually. Let's just build one up here. 320 points. Okay, 320 points. Your stubborn's going to be 4 points. No, it's gone down to 2 points. So 322. Thunderstrike Gauntlet should be 0. No, sorry, it is 35. You've got to have to pay for it. Okay, and the Reaper Chainsword. So an extra 75 points in total, or 65 points, 30 and 35. So 387 points total. It's nicely under 400. 387 points. Pretty reasonable for the size of model that you get. 24 wound model. Yep, and once it gets into close combat, it will cause trouble. Yep, against any target, you know, even hordes or medium infantry and so on, you can use your feet and get 15 attacks. Yep, with 6s, causing extra hits. Yeah, brilliant. It's pretty good actually, 387 points. Yep. Nice. I think that's very, very good for points. That, like, I played a 2,000 point game, and there is a knight in the list. Either I have one or the opponent has one. It's always a tough target to bring down. So, and it's an absolute bargain if you can get a cheap one and put it in your list and still have loads of points to spend on other stuff. Massive distraction. Crazy. Yeah, really good. No, I'd take a rampager, I reckon, and just have it supporting the units or just hurl it towards the opponent. Absolute bullet magnet. Brilliant. Okay, so that's the armaments covered there. A couple of new weapons, not that much. There they are, facing off against Imperial Knights. Yeah, and what the satisfaction it would be to have Imperial Knights firing at you, their weapons, and then you make it across the board and get into close combat and then cut them down. Yeah, that'd be cool. Because you want these two armies just sort of standing back and shooting each other. You want them to collide here in epic close combat. So I think it'd be the Chaos Knights would be the ones to take the fight to the enemy. Okay, Might of the Fallen houses then. Onto the unique rules here for Chaos Knights. So, Praetorius Lances. Once you've mustered your army, select one model in each Chaos Knight's Super Heavy detachment. Each selected model gains the character keyword. In addition, the command benefit of each Chaos Knight's Super Heavy detachment is changed to none if it does not contain at least one Chaos Knight's Titanic unit, and it's changed to +6 command points if it contains at least 3 Chaos Knight's Titanic units. Right, so big bonus for that there. And then Praetorius Ambitions. Units in the Chaos Knights detachment gain the Conquerors Without Mercy Praetorius Ambition if every unit in the detachment has the Ironclast household keyword or Iconoclast household keyword, or they gain the Demonic Surge Praetorius Ambition if every unit in the detachment has the Infernal household keyword. These Praetorius Ambitions are detailed opposite. So again, you're looking to make sure you're well organised here to take advantage of those benefits. So two different types of household here. The Iconoclast household ambition. If a model with this ambition makes a charged move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention, add 1 to the model's attacks characteristics. Again, a massive incentive to get into close combat. Until the end of the turn, the arm penetration characteristic of melee weapons the model is equipped with is improved by 1. To the end of the turn, so AP 0 becomes AP -1. So AP -3, chainsaw becomes AP -4. Yeah, it's going to make a big difference if you're getting close against targets. In addition, an enemy unit fails a morale test within 12. If any models with this ambition, 1 additional model flees that unit, which is a rule that's not very significant. But the rest is extra attack and improving the AP minus. Cool. Then the Infernal household ambition, Demonic Surge. At the start of your movement phase, each model with this ambition can use a Demonic Surge. If a model uses Demonic Surge, it suffers 1 mortal wound, then you roll 1d3 on the table to the right to determine the rule that applies to that model at the start of until the start of the next movement phase. When a model uses Demonic Surge, you can choose for that model to suffer d3 mortal wounds instead of 1. If you do so, you can select the result from the table instead of rolling to determine it. Yeah, which may be worth it. A model can only use Demonic Surge once per battle round. Okay, so D3 results. Demonic Hunger on 1. Add 2 to the move, and add 1 to advanced rolls and charge rolls made for this model. Okay. Because is it worth losing the wounds? This is what I'm wondering here. A 2, add 1 to the model's toughness. Yeah, tough enough, useful enough. Toughness 9. Yeah, that's big. You know, battle cannons, Imperial Lean Rust battle cannons now wounding on a 5+, las cannons wounding on a 4+, That is big. And demonic power. Select one ranged weapon this model is equipped with. Add 1 to the weapon's strength, characteristic, and damage. Yeah, it's okay. The best one is +1 toughness. With that household, I'd be taking models that can repair. They have the ability to repair wounds. You lose the wounds, you'd like the idea of being able to regain them. That's okay. Not bad. Okay, so stratagems then. Here, plenty to choose from. 1, 2, 3 pages of stratagems in. And again, some of these are going to be very similar, if not match, the Imperial Knight stratagems here. But 2 command points gets you Iron Aegis. Use your stratagem at the start of your opponent's movement phase. Select 1 Knight Tyrant model from your army. That model cannot move until the end of your next turn, for any reason. To the start of your next turn, models in friendly Chaos units have a 5+ invuln save against ranged weapons, whilst the unit's wholly within 6 inches of that model. So all it's restricting you is you can't move. You grant a 5+ invuln save. It's useful, depending on what your battle strategy is, but a useful resource to have. Spiteful Demise, 2 command points. Use a stratagem when a Chaos Knight's model from your army is destroyed. Before making a roll to see if it explodes, on a 4+ it explodes. If it is a Knight Tyrant, it explodes. If at least one result is a 4+. If both results are a 4+, then its units in 3d6 are affected. Okay. So yeah, that could be a nasty way to leave a parting gesture to your opponent. Again, getting in close and then detonating with Spiteful Demise. Cool. Thunderstomp, I think the Imperial Knights have this one. Use a stratagem immediately after fighting a Titanic Chaos Knights model from your army. Select 1 enemy infantry unit or swarm within an inch. Roll 1d6 and a 4+, it's d3 mortal wounds. It's okay. May be useful against characters. Fighting against someone like Gilliman, perhaps, someone like that. No, Gilliman's a monster. But an infantry target or swarm. Sky Reaper protocols on a 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. When a War Dog model from your army shoots with its War Dog autocannons before making attacks, to the end of the phase, resolve an attack made by this weapon against a unit that can fly. You can reroll the hit roll. Yeah, interesting. This is very good here because you can reroll the hit roll. Hang on. Yeah, it's not vowed hit rolls. So if you re-rolls before modifiers. So if you know one of your hits is going to become a miss, you can choose to re-roll it. So that is very good. Actually, it's only 1 command point. So that's very useful, that one. Like War Dogs with the autocannons for firepower support. Yeah, a good strategy I'm seeing here would be to take your War Dogs, the weaker model, at the back for your firepower support, and then put your close combat into your Knights and send those in. Both are the cheaper option. Your close combat equipped Knights are cheaper, and then for firepower your War Dogs are cheaper than taking a Knight. So that's the kind of balance I go for. You get a lot more. You'd still get 2 good aspects, decent firepower, decent close combat, but 2 cheaper ways of going about it. And it'd be my favourite models as well. But that's very useful, that one. Rotate Iron Shields. This is they've probably adapted this now, like they FAQ'd the Imperial Knights. So 1 command point, or 3 command points. So it has an invuln save is chosen for the target of an attack. This stratagem costs 3 command points if it's a Knight Tyrant, it's a larger model. Otherwise it's 1 command point. Then your invuln save is improved to a maximum of 4+, which is useful. And then Corrupted Heirlooms, that's your Relics. Usual rules for that. Tyrannical Court, 1 or 3 command points. Use a stratagem before the battle after nominating your Warlord. Select 1 Knight to spoil a Knight Tyrant or Abhorrent class model from your army that is not your Warlord for 1 command point. Select up to 2, 3 command points. These models gain character keyword for each of these models. Generate 1 Warlord trait. Cool. Very cool. The model is regarded as your warlord for the purposes of the warlord trait. Each warlord trait in your army must be unique. If randomly generated, reroll duplicate results. You can only use a stratagem once per battle. Cool, that's good. One command point here, pack dogs. Use a stratagem when a quest or Praetorius war dog model from your army finishes a charge move. To the end of the phase, you can reroll charge rolls made for friendly quest or Praetorius war dog units, if they're within 12 inches of that model when the roll is made. Okay, helpful enough if you're going to go for the chain cleaver sort of option with them. One command point next for chain sweep. Use a stratagem after Chaos Knight's model from your army that's equipped with a Reaper Chainsword or the teeth that Hunger has fought. Roll 1d6 for each enemy model within 3 inches. For each 6, the unit of the model being rolled for suffers 1 mortal wound. Okay. Yeah, you're stuck in against hordes or something. Could be useful. Yeah, you get a few mortal wounds. Death Grip. I think the Knights, Imperial Knights, have something similar. Use the stratagem after Chaos Knight's model from your army that is equipped with a Thunderstrike Gauntlet or Gauntlet of Ascension has fought. This model makes 1 additional attack with this weapon against 1 enemy unit within an inch that contains a single model. When resolving that attack, if a hit is scored, the target suffers D3 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. If the enemy model is not destroyed, it is caught in a Death Grip. Both players roll off and add the model's strength characteristic to their result. If your opponent rolled a 6, and or if their result is equal to or higher than yours, the enemy model breaks free. Otherwise, the enemy model suffers an additional D3 mortal wounds, and both players roll off as before. Continue to do this until either the enemy model breaks free or is destroyed. Wow. Oh, wow. You'd have so much fun playing that one. 1 command point for Death Grip. Fantastic. Massive. I'm looking for ones that give you a massive incentive to go for close combat, and Death Grip's one of them. Brilliant. These are all good. Chain Sweep here's cool. Yeah, very good. Demonic Guidance System, 3 command points. Use a stratagem and Knight Tyrant model for your army fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot with. To the end of the phase, 1 shield breaker missile that model is equipped with can target a unit that is not visible to that model. It can target a character unit even if it's not the closest enemy unit. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, interesting that one. Okay, full tilts. The Knights have this one as well. 2 command points. Use a stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Select 1 Chaos Knights model from your army. That model can charge even if it advanced. Brilliant. Again, big incentive to go for close combat here. There's some good ones here. Devastating Reach. Yeah, and the balance as well. If you've got the bigger knights equipped for close combat, charging in, and then your war dogs at the back firing, they're the ones punishing your opponent with firepower. The opponent's then got a conundrum. Do you fire at the supporting units, the war dogs, try and shoot them whilst you've got these Chaos Knights heading straight towards you, or do you then instead fire at the knights that are heading towards you very quick, in which case you're ignoring the blistering firepower potentially coming through from the war dogs, so it creates a conundrum for the opponent. Devastating Reach is 1 command point. Use this stratagem before choosing Chaos Knight's Titanic model from your army to charge with. Select 1 enemy unit that is entirely on or within ruins or a sector Mechanicus structure which has no models on the ground floor. This helps you reach into buildings. That enemy unit is considered to be within 12 inches of that model and must be selected as a target for that model's charge. If that model can finish its charge move within 2 inches horizontally and 6 vertically of that enemy unit, the charge is successful, otherwise the charge fails. If the charge is successful, then until the end of the turn, that model can target that enemy unit and make attacks with melee weapons against the enemy unit as if it were within an inch of it. And when resolving the attack made with Titanic feet by that model, do not make a hit roll. That attack automatically fails. Okay. Yeah, it's an awkward situation, that fighting on upper levels. So they've given you a stratagem to help get out of that problem. But I would prefer a change in the rules so players aren't forced to use up command points to be able to attack an enemy model that's higher up in the building. Titanic Duel. 1 command point. Use the stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 Chaos Knights model from your army that's within an inch of an enemy Titanic units. Both players secretly choose a number between 1 and 3. Sounds interesting. Each either write this number down or use 1d6 that is hidden behind your hand. The numbers are revealed at the same time. If they differ, then until the end of that phase, add the number you choose to the attack's characteristic of that model. But attacks made with melee weapons by that model can only target Titanic units. Yeah. Interesting card, that one. Good fun. He's a good fun. Death Grip, good fun. Yeah. Trail of Destruction, 2 command points. Use this stratagem when a Chaos Knights model from your army fires Overwatch, or is chosen to shoot or fight with. To the end of the phase, when resolve an attack made by that model, you can reroll the hit roll. Okay. Yeah, I think it's now the way it's worded here. Use the stratagem when a Chaos Knights model from your army fires Overwatch, or is chosen to shoot or fight with. Okay. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by that model, you can reroll the hit roll. So is that all attacks or just one? I think it's all attacks. Because why would you pay 2 command points? Why not just pay 1 command point for a reroll? If it's the case that it's only 1 attack. When resolving an attack or any attacks. Not sure about that one. It's 2 command points. So for that, it's 1 more page of stratagems here. Break the enemy line. 2 command points. Use the stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 enemy unit within an inch of an iconoclast household. Models from your army that made a charge move that turn. To the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made with melee weapon by an iconoclast household model from your army against that unit, you can reroll the hit roll. Let's get reroll hit rolls, useful enough. Vow of Carnage. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select 1 iconoclast household model from your army to declare a vow of carnage. Till the end of the battle, keep a tally of enemy models destroyed as a result of attacks made by that model, adding 1 to the model's attacks characteristic for every 10 models destroyed. Cool. That model cannot be selected for Vow of Dominance or Vow of the Beast Slayer stratagems. You can only use a stratagem once per battle. Nice. Yeah. So the way these are working, you're wanting to build an army of about 10 command points at least. Because there's some good ones here. Vow of Dominance. 2 command points. Use the stratagem before the battle. Select 1 iconoclast household model from your army to declare a Vow of Dominance till the end of the battle when resolving an attack made by that model. Unmodified roll of 1, 2 or 3 always vows, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or the model making the attacks may have. That model cannot be selected for the Vow of Carnage or Vow of the Beast Slayer stratagems. You can use the stratagem once per battle. So, pretty powerful, this one. Just looking at here, it's an attack against that model. So I think that's shooting, and for close combat. 1, 2s and 3s are going to fail to win, regardless of what weapon type it is. And it's pretty powerful for keeping your knights, the model, alive. Interesting, that one, the Vow of Dominance. Vow of the Beast Slayer is 1 command point. Use the stratagem before the battle. These are great to add these before the battle begins. Really, this is good. Again, good fun here. Select 1 iconoclast household model from your army to declare a Vow of the Beast Slayer. To the end of the battle, when resolving an attack made by that model against an enemy unit that contains any models with a wounds characteristic of 8 or higher, reroll wound rolls of 1. That model cannot be selected for Vow of Carnage or Vow of Dominance stratagems. You can only use a stratagem once per battle. So reroll wound rolls of 1. That's about it. Okay. 2 command points then for Bind the Souls of the Defeated. Use the stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select an Infernal household model from your army. Until the end of that phase, when any model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by a melee weapon by the selected model, roll 1d6. On a 4+, the selected model gains 1 lost wound. Each model can only regain up to 6 wounds as a result of this stratagem in the same phase. Any model destroyed. It's okay. It's quite tricky to... Yeah, it's alright. Yes, need to remember during the game to make sure that you remember to use that 4+ each time. Pact with the Dark Gods is 3 command points. Use a stratagem and infernal household model from your army is destroyed but didn't explode. Roll 1d6 at the end of the phase and 4+, return that model to play with d3 wounds remaining. Cool. Placing it as close as possible to its previous position and more than an inch away from enemy models. This stratagem cannot be used in the same model more than once per battle. Very useful backup. Wow. Brilliant. Game changer, that one. To bring a knight back to play. Yeah, but the opponent needs to watch out for that. It could be the end of the shooting phase, all the weapons, knight's finally brought down, and then the coast is clear, then you bring the thing back. It's 4+ though. Wonder if you can command reroll that if you fail. I think you can. I think. Not sure. Demonic Ammunition. 1 command point. Use a stratagem before the battle. Select a Chaos Knights detachment from your army until the end of the battle. Heavy Stubbers. That Infernal Household Chaos Knights models and detachment equipped with have a strength characteristic of 5. So if you've got a lot of Heavy Stubbers, then maybe it's worth it. But probably wouldn't bother that. Then Diabolic Rift. 2 command points. Use a stratagem at the start of your opponent's psychic phase. To the end of that phase, when a psychic test is taken from any model within 12 inches of any Chaos Knights, Infernal Household models from your army, that enemy model suffers perils of the warp on any dice roll. Instead of double 1 or double 6. That's crazy. That enemy model suffers perils of the warp on any dice roll instead of a double 1 or double 6. That's ridiculous. Diabolic Rift. That's really going to mess up psychic plans for the opponent. Just the range is limited, 12 inches, but scary, that one. So yeah, there's some great stratagems in there. Some ones that are good fun as well, and some extra tweaks and bonuses that you can add to your models, particular models before the game starts, and beef them up. And by the time you start adding on some of these, some warlord traits, some relics, you can really start to tailor your own knight and generate a real good narrative, good theme going. Yeah. And if I was going to go for sort of more of a close combat theme with the larger knights, you could really start stacking these up to make them pretty scary, actually. Actually have the knight plunge into an enemy Imperial knight and hack it down in one round of combat. That would scare the opponent. Yeah, no, so that's the theme I'd go for, but obviously leave your own comments and feedback. Especially, Chaos players, and you have knights, Chaos Knights, and what do you think of this new Codex here? But I think it's pretty good. So, your Dreadblade Pacts and Damnations here. So, this is just the way, again, you can, it's like the free blade type idea here, a Dreadblade. So you could, let's have a look at these, see which one I'd add in. If your army's battle forwards, and before the battle you can give 1 Dreadblade model from each detachment, Pacts and Damnations. To give a model of Pacts and Damnations, first either select 1 Pact from the table below, or roll 2d6 to randomly generate 2 Pacts from the table. So, Path to Glory, when resolving an attack by this model against a character or tenant unit, you can reroll the hit roll. So this is pretty good. Thunderous Charge, after this model finishes a charge move, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit of an inch, and a 4+, it's d3 mortal wounds, another good one. Demonic Vigour, when this pact is chosen or generated, roll 1d6 on a 1 to 3, add 2 inches to the move, 4 to 5, improve the weapon skill by 1, and on a 6, improve the ballistic skill by 1. These are all good here. Knower of Profane Secrets, add 1 to the model's leadership at the start of the first battle round. If any models in your army with this pact are on the battlefield, you gain a command point. Galvanized Hull, when resolve an attack made by a weapon with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 against this model, that weapon has an AP -0. Useful. Yep, Archfiend, this model can perform heroic intervention within 6 inches instead of 3. And then for Damnation here, after determining the model's pacts, you must then either select 2 different damnations from the table below, or roll 1d6 to randomly generate a single damnation. Right, so it's one of, two of, or the other way around. If any Dreadblades from your army have any damnations, roll 2d6 for each of them at the start of each of your turns, subtracting 1 from the result if they have the Forsaken damnation. If the result is less than the Dreadblade's leadership characteristic, their damnations do not apply that turn, otherwise their damnations apply until the end of your next turn. It's the damnation then. Forsaken. Whilst this damnation applies, this model cannot be affected by any stratagems, including command rerolls. Stratagem to reroll dice for this model. Ouch. Warp Rage. Whilst this damnation applies, this model cannot fall back and has a ballistic skill of 6+. Yeah, well, you could pick here, couldn't you? Yeah. Bit risky. Volatile Reactor. Whilst this damnation applies, roll 1d6 at the end of each phase, in which this model's lost any wounds, but was not destroyed in a 4+, loses an extra wound. It's not that bad. Then number 4, Warp Fugue. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. F-U-G-U-E. Whilst this damnation applies, this model always fights last in the fight phase, even if it charged or has an ability to allow it to fight first. It's not the end of the world, but okay. And then Single-Minded Hatred. Whilst this damnation applies in your shooting phase, a unit can only be targeted by this model if it's the closest enemy unit that is visible to it. In your charge phase, a unit can only be selected as a charge if it's the closest enemy unit. Well, we'll be careful with that one as well. And then Defiant Machine Spirit. Whilst this damnation applies, when an advance or charge roll is made for this model, subtract 1 from the result. When resolving an attack made by this model, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Ouch. Okay. Be careful with these tables here. So artifacts, they give you a good few, which is great. So it's for characters. So if you Warlord, but remember there's the ability to make multiple characters, so you should be able to take a good spread of these in your list. So like two or three of them. Blasphemous Engine. So I'm looking at this from the perspective of maybe going for close combat here. Blasphemous Engine. Infernal Household model only, other than a Dreadblade model. A model with this relic is considered to have double the number of wounds remaining for the purpose of determining what row to use on its damage table. Yep, that is useful. That is very useful, that one. Immediately a good one. Iconoclast Household model. This is a Vale of Medringard. Iconoclast Household. Other than Dreadblade model. Model this relic has a 4+ invuln save against attacks made by ranged weapons. Yeah, great. Another great one. Cornate Target. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, a model of this relic can activate it. When it does, until the end of that phase, invuln saves cannot be made against attacks made with melee weapons for that model, and invuln saves cannot be made for that model. Okay. Pretty good though, in the right situation. Wow. No invuln saves. Scary. Zinchian Pyrothrone. Dear me. Some of these names here. Model this relic gains a psychic keyword. Interesting. It can attempt to manifest one psychic power in your psychic phase and can attempt to deny one psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase. If that model has the Warp Haunted Hull Warlord trait, it can attempt to deny 2 powers in your opponent's psychic phase instead. It knows Smite. If that model is destroyed as a result of perils of the warp, do not roll any dice for that model's. Do not roll any dice for that model's explodes or dual plasma core explosion ability. It automatically explodes as if a 6 has been rolled. Dear me. Be careful with that one. Helm of Warp Sight. A Night Rampager. Night Desecrator or Night Despoiler model only. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model of this relic, ignores hit roll modifiers. Yeah, useful. Yeah, not bad, that one. Pretty good. The Diamonis model equipped with a laser destructor only. This is the replacement, range 60, heavy 3. Nice, guaranteed 3 shots, really good. Strength 16, -4 and d6 damage. Any wound rolls of a 6 is d3 mortal wounds. Yep, so that's a better version. It's a much better version. The Tyrant's banner. Yeah, you guarantee 3 shots every time. Is way better. Takes the randomness away. Yeah. Right, the Tyrant's banner. Knight Rampager, Desecrator, or Despoiler model only. Master model with this relic is within 6 inches of any friendly Chaos units. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic of those units. At the start of your turn, if your army is battle forged and a model from your army of this relic is on the battlefield, roll a d6 on a 5+, you gain a command point. Useful. The Teeth That Hunger replaces the Reaper Chain Sword. It's +8 strength. It's strength 16. AP -4. Straight 6 damage. You get additional attack with this weapon at the end of the battle round in which no enemy models were destroyed as a result of attacks made by this weapon. Roll 1d6. On the 1, the bearer suffers a mortal wound, which is very unlikely. And fine. Great. The Teeth That Hunger is decent. Another good one. The Rune of Naktagra. Dreadblade only. A model of this relic has a 5+ invuln save against attacks made with ranged and melee weapons. That model gains an additional Dreadblade Pact and 1 additional damnation of your choice. The Putrid Carapace of Nurgle. Nice if you're theming your knights around this. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against a model with this relic, if a saving throw is successful, 1d6, and a 4+ unit that made the attack suffers 1 mortal wound after its attacks have been resolved. Okay, and then Bound Varadian Psychogeist. When resolving, these have got to be the toughest ones to pronounce of all of the codexes so far. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model of this relic, an unmodified roll of 6 for the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by 1 for that attack. So, e.g., AP0 becomes AP -1. Yes, okay. The Traitor's Mark. Would be good on an Avenging Gatling Cannon, for example. The Traitor's Mark. A model of your army is equipped with a relic within 12 inches of an enemy unit. Subtract 1 leadership characteristic of those enemy units. Whilst models from your army is within 6 inches of enemy units is -2. The Quicksilver Throne of Slanesh. When an advance or charge roll is made with a model of this relic, add 1 to the result. A model of this relic always fights first in the fight phase, even if they didn't charge. If there are enemy units that have charged or have similar ability, then alternate choosing the units. Okay, so a lot of these here, these themed ones, say you've got a Death Guard army and you want to add in a Chaos Knight, then you can build one up and add in some appropriate relics and so on. Cool. The Gauntlet of Ascension. This is Thunderstrike Gauntlets, replaces it with ×2 strength, AP -4, d6 damage. Resolve an attack made with this weapon, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. Cool. When a character model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by this weapon, add 1 to the bearer's strength characteristic and add 1 to the bearer's characteristic. For the rest of the game, I take it. Cool. Yeah, it's a great ones, isn't it? Some really, really good ones. And then Warlord traits. So, Infernal Quest on a 1. This Warlord is in range of an objective marker as specified in the mission. It controls that objective marker even if there are more enemy models within range of that objective marker against troops. Cool. If any model has a similar ability, so on, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's useful enough. Especially if you're going for your pure Chaos Knights army. You've got like a troops type unit then with Infernal Quest. Useful. Harbinger of Scrap Code. At the end of the movement phase, roll a d6 for each enemy vehicle within 6 inches of your Warlord. On a 4+, the unit being rolled for suffers a mortal wound. So it's okay. Easily forget that. Knight Diabolus, add 1 to the Warlord's attacks. Yeah, straightforward. Yeah, and 1 attack is, your potential of straight 6 damage. Doesn't sound very much, but for knights that's big. Warp Haunted Hull. This Warlord can attempt to deny 1 psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase in the same manner as a psyker. In addition, when this Warlord would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound in the psychic phase, roll a d6 on a 5+, the wound is not lost. Eager for the kill. When an advanced roll or charge roll is made for this Warlord, add 1 to the result. In addition, add 1 to this Warlord's attacks characteristic whilst the whole within your opponent's deployment zone. It's okay. And then Aura of Terror. Yeah, I like straightforward traits and things to remember. +1 attack, you always remember that. Other ones that are conditional on certain circumstances are easy to forget, that's the only problem. Aura of Terror. When a charge roll is made for an enemy unit within 12 inches of this warlord, subtract 1 from the result. In addition, when a morale test is taken for an enemy unit within 12, your opponent rolls 2d6, discarding the lowest or even result if they have the same. It's complicated, that one. So I like the straightforward ones. Infernal Quest, you know what that is, your troops, and you play that model like that for the rest of the game. That one's good. And then this Knight Diabolus +1 attack. Yeah, that's those two I would go for. So points, values. A lot of people have been asking, can you read these out? These specific Maelstrom of War cards. So I'll call these out here. So you've got Path of Destruction. Score 1 victory point for at least 1 Chaos Knights model from your army hold within your opponent's deployment zone at the end of this turn. Score D3 victory points so if there are 3 or more Chaos Knights. So again, massive incentive just to get stuck into your opponent and sweep across the table. So yeah, that would suit the style I'm thinking of. Kill the Usurper. Score 1 victory point for at least 1 enemy character unit was destroyed as a result of attacks made by melee weapons by Chaos Knights character model from your army during that turn. If you've got multiple characters in your army, that's quite possible. It's another good one. And again, getting into combat. A fitting challenge. Uses tactical objectives. When this tactical objective is generated, your opponent selects a unit from their army that's on the battlefield. Score 1 victory point if that unit was destroyed as a result of an attack made by Chaos Knights model from your army during this turn. Difficult, that one, because your opponent's just going to choose a model that's miles away or hidden. So that's very, very difficult actually. Titan Slayer. Score 1 victory point for each enemy vehicle model or monster that was destroyed as a result of an attack made by Chaos Knights model from your army this turn. And 3 victory points instead for each Titanic model that was destroyed as a result of an attack made by Chaos Knights model from your army, to a maximum of 6 victory points. God. Titan Slayer. Game changing. 6 victory points you could get. And, you know, it'd be satisfying to try and do that in close combat. But I think all firepower, either way, I think this one. And killing vehicles is quite doable with knights, either with firepower or close combat. Ruthless Tyranny. Roll 1d6 when this tactical objective is generated. Score D3 victory points if you control the objective marker whose number corresponds to the d6 result at the end of 2 consecutive turns. Okay, so it's like a defend objective, whatever card. And then Crush the Foe. Score 1 victory point if 2 or more Chaos Knights models from your army made a charge move this turn. Great, score D3 victory points if at least 4 or more Chaos Knights models from your army made a charge move. Again, big incentive to get stuck into close combat with Crush the Foe. Alright, so that's the review here for Chaos Knights. It's great they've got their own codex now. Chaos players are going to be happy with that for sure. Some great powers in there, some great stratagems, some great loadouts you can go for. I still, after going through all of this, I reckon my theme would be War Dogs with the autocannons for firepower. Cheaper option, devastating weapon, really, really good. And then I'd go for primarily close combat based Chaos Knights to lurch towards the opponent for sure. And if they get in amongst the opponent, they're going to cause absolute havoc against any target. You know, infantry, heavy infantry, vehicles, Titanic units, no problem at all. And if you're going to mix them in with a regular sort of Chaos Space Marine army, then you know have that Legion pushing up. So you'd have a Baden with a couple of these surging ahead. It would look fantastic. So that's the kind of theme I would go for. But maybe you've got your own ideas. Leave it in the comment section below. That's the point for discussion. Give your impressions of this codex here. How much an improvement it's going to be for Chaos Knights, and general feedback in regards to this codex here. But that's the review. Thanks to Games Workshop for sending me a copy ahead of time, and check out gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop and other gaming systems at a discount rate as well. But that's the video and the review. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.